Hey everyone, and welcome back to the state of Iowa, and more importantly, the Small Town Farmer Series. It is now late spring of the next year, which means we are about to bust the mowers out to cut our hay, but we are staying very busy on the farm here today, so let's pull this tractor around over here, and let's get to it. Hit the intro, somebody. Okay, so now that intro is behind us, and like you did here in the intro, we are going to be working in the hayfields today, actually. We're going to be cutting some hay now that it is finally a brand new year. It is May 1st here of year 3, and it's been a little while since we last spoke. I skipped forward in time about 5 or so months, I do believe, and a good bit has happened on the farm since then, which I will show you as soon as we get this International filled up with diesel fuel here. And part of me realizes that this yard is an absolute mess and we do have to do some equipment sorting, but we are going to be using the red guy here and this John Deere right up on the hill right here. But the 4440 is just sitting out of the way right now. We've been using this tractor pretty heavily through fall tillage, and you know, the 3 or 4 pastures that we reseeded and drilled, and then some more about this tractor later. I can't spoil it yet, so I'll go ahead and cut this off. We got a full tank of diesel on this bad boy, and so before we head out to the field to start cutting our hay, let's do a little bit of a year in review, what all has happened, because like I did say, we skipped forward in time quite a good bit, you know, like I said, about 5 months from, what was it, about October-ish to now. That's probably more than 5 months. So it's just the only problem with a hay and cattle farm, you can't really do a whole lot. That's not repetitive. You can't really video a lot. I mean, you could clear snow and whatnot. And I guess we did bring out the track loader and do some work with this guy. But for most of the winter time, it sat in the shed right there, so it wouldn't freeze over. Because it did get pretty cold here in Iowa this year. I was a little surprised. So it was a frigid winter. Couldn't really do a whole lot. You know, we fed cattle every single day, and that's about the most exciting thing we got out of wintertime. But what all have we done since then? I guess it would be no surprise that, well, you've already seen it. We have a brand new tedder. No luck from the last one. We've had it put in the shop too many times to count, so we just went ahead and sought after a new one. And then sitting right next to it, we have a coon rake. Brand new rake. This one is actually a little bigger than the Farm King we had, or well, maybe I would say it's about the same size. I'm not too sure. Believe it or not, the Farm King rake it's really hard to find parts for. This coon rake we got at the John Deere dealership just down the road here. It's really not that far at all. It's a super nice piece. And then the Krone, same place we found the disc bind. We'd already been looking at this tedder for a little while, and we finally bought it. There's a Agco dealer pretty far away from here. Or at least I think that's where we got this from, but it also could have come from the Vermeer and Case dealer. There's a bunch of dealerships down this highway. If you just keep going down this road for about another 20 miles, there's like a little town you come upon, and there's 3 or 4 dealerships. There's a New Holland, there's a Vermeer and Case, and then there might even be like a Bobcat or something. So 2 new pieces of equipment, both brand spanking new. I think this coon is new at least. I'm not sure what the year model is, but I think if it's older than brand spanking new, then it's like a 2019, 2020 model, so it's, yeah, fairly new. But this guy right here is new. It is brand new. And so we will make our rounds this way, and we'll stop by the barn really fast because we sold our Gale round baler. After doing some serious discussion, we just decided to go ahead and sell it off. We didn't really ever use it. We used it for parts, but that was really the only thing we had it for. Dad used that round baler like crazy and loved it. I wasn't the biggest fan, so instead of it rotting here, we decided to just go ahead and, you know, sell it, get it out of the way. So that's that. If we come up this way, you can see we picked up a field cultivator or something like that. And so this is what I meant by when I said something else with the 4440. Yeah, we had this guy on the back of it. I never really got any footage of it because we hardly ran it, which is why it looks fairly good in condition wise. But we bought it used with a fresh coat of paint, so it looks pretty awesome, I think. And it's 3-point hitch. So, yep, well, we just kind of wanted something to break up new ground if we ever had a new pasture. You know, you really can't not have one of these. You see what I mean? And then for this next show off, we have to kind of do some walking. We finally got this field here bush hogged, and we re-drilled some good looking grass in it. It's coming along super nice, and now we are taking our sweet time to put up a fence around this hayfield right here, because we are converting it into a full-blown pasture. And as you can see, we've got the crew out here working on it right now. It's been me and Dad. We've been in and out of this spot working on the fence, but right now we're out of posts, so the pole driver is back at the house, and we've got everything just sitting out here dormant. And because we don't have any more posts, we need to have some delivered. I have been working on putting in a field approach, so we borrowed some dirt from the farm back there we had piled up behind the trees. Borrowed some dirt, filled this in, built up a berm, and then we rigged this trailer out right here, brought some gravel, and then using the 6R, put the bucket back on it, and we have been smoothing this field approach out, or well, I guess you could say pasture approach, whatever. So we've been making loads with this trailer right here. Oh man, hauling a lot of gravel, a lot more than you'd think. And then check this out. Picked up a brand new skid steer also. When I tell you guys that we have not had some serious upgrades on the farm like this in a very long time, I'm serious. So it's really awesome to get some new farm upgrades and to show them off on camera. We've had that piece of junk, that piece of junk skid steer we had before this guy. Did not like it whatsoever. We got a little bit of camera time, but we just sold it just without thinking about it. We just sold it. Picked up this from a dealer down the road. Just can't remember the name of them, but yeah, basically brand new Kubota SVL series skid steer with some brand new forks. Came as like a package. They came together. So, and then we obviously borrowed the pole driver for the fences. But yeah, check this guy out. Awesome machine. Love to have it on the farm just as much as everything else. And then I will cross the road here really quickly before we head back to the farm, because, well, you can't really ignore it now. We put up a new shop back in about January, February, and they are just now finishing up with it. We took that shelter and everything and just threw it in the trash. I've started over. We really needed something bigger to park our equipment in, or my truck. And then obviously, well, let's hop in here real quick and see what's inside. Really and truly nothing, because we still have to put stuff in here. Like I said, they just got done with this place. But the light switch is over here, turns the lights on like you'd expect. And then we've got the lawnmower and the dirt bike back here in the corner, and then my truck will just sit right here. So we were running out of room with that little shelter and the shed we had. My bumper was sticking out pretty far from the shelter, so we needed an upgrade. And then speaking of upgrades, the kids got a trampoline for Christmas, so count this in as a deal package. Really hard to beat a Christmas trampoline, ain't it? So as far as I'm concerned, that's how the upgrades are going so far. Oh, and new gravel on the driveway. That's another reason we were hauling so much gravel. So you can see we put all this gravel out right here, right there. So yeah, you can probably imagine how many loads we were hauling. But I am gonna hop in the 6R, and we're going to take this back to the farm for right now. The cattle have already been fed yesterday, so I'm not going to worry about it for a little while. Now that it's, time for them to graze, we don't have to give them as much hay, so they can just eat off the pasture. And speaking of feeding, we moved some of our bales from the back lot pasture that were sitting on the side of the field. We moved them in the barn right here, but we got done feeding with all the hay that's been sitting out there for a little while. There was so much hay out there. We've been out there for like 6 months. We have now fed the cattle all that hay that was sitting out there, so now we're just gonna feed what we have in the barn and call it a day. But obviously, we're about to have some more hay, so I was just letting you know that we're kind of running low. We've been feeding pretty heavily throughout the winter. But so without that being said, I think we are going to get started cutting hay. It does look like it's gonna rain. I think there was some chances maybe later this afternoon. I could be wrong, around 5-6 o'clock, so I do not know. I'm most likely gonna be grilling burgers that time. So, but for now, I am going to jump in the 4450, because me and Dad are supposed to be on a little bit of a hay cutting team here today, and I'm switching things up just a little bit, because we're going to run over here and we're going to get the hay bind out of the shelter. I know, I'm really excited to use this thing. It's been a little while since we've run the hay bind. I guess it's been 2 years now. It wasn't this past summer, because we had the new chrome disc bind, which I'm still loving, by the way. I know it doesn't look like it, but this International hay bind is heavy, and I think it needs a tractor like this to pull it. I don't know if the International will pull it. I'm sure it probably will, but I, for one, have never run the International with this hay bind, so I do not know for sure. I think Dad Dad has, but I'm gonna leave him with the International, and then when he gets here, he'll just hook it up to the crawling disc bind. Since that's a smaller mower, it requires less PTO horsepower, so this tractor definitely has a lot less PTO horse. And that's just an excuse for me to run this hay bind. I love this hay bind. I always have it. It really does cut nice, and if you cannot tell, it is like almost triple the size of that Krone. So we might as well just sell the Krone and only use this right here. I mean, if it works, don't fix it. Yeah, if it's not broke, don't fix it. That's right. That's what I was thinking. So I guess we will head straight out to the field right now. Maybe less talking, more doing. Sounds better. And I was planning on cutting one of the neighbors' fields that we've been leasing here recently, but it's not really ready to go. The hay isn't headed out a whole lot. So I'm going to take the time to come over here and we're going to cut this pasture. We're going to get a cutting off of it before the cattle get in here, because I don't know what they're going to do to this. And I really don't know if we will be able to cut it at all when the cattle get in here. So yep, here's our little hay field. It's a few acres. It's not too big. It's very pretty though, tucked in the side of the farm right here. I'm a fan. I do like it. So we've got the mower set like it needs to be, and I guess we'll just go ahead and set this guy down and start working. Just break the field open. Nothing seems to be wrong with that at all. I will kind of go outside the field boundary just a little bit, because there's nothing wrong with that, I don't think. And then we've got the neighbor's field that they need to do something with. Oh, it looks terrible. Our hay field right here is looking really, really nice. You can kind of see how big it is now that we're down here at the end of the field. But there's a little low spot down here that never took hold and never grew up. You can see we tried to drill it, but like I said, it never did anything. So a little bit unfortunate right there, but you can't do much about that. It's just a little low spot where water would sit. But then the rest of the field is very thick. It's not the tallest hay ever, but it is very thick. I mean, you can see the row that is coming out of the back of this disc or hay bind. It is, yeah, it's very full and thick. And now we'll just turn around and run the other way. We'll go over what we've already cut so that we're not destroying more crop, because as you can see, crop destruction is on when we are crushing our hay field here. This is one of my favorite times of the year. Actually, I think it might be my favorite time of the year. Late spring, early summer, getting behind the wheel of a tractor, cutting up some hay. I do very much enjoy this. So also, it's really cool to see all the neighboring farms around here getting to work. A lot of people are putting in their double crop soybeans right now, and just there's so much going on. You know, winter's super dead, and then springtime, all the planting's going on and the spring tillage, and then you hop right from that to the summertime, and then you've got the wheat harvest, you got the hay cutting, and then you've got the double cropping that everybody puts the planters back out for. And it's a really nice time of year. A little chilly for swimming in the pool, so obviously that's one reason we got the kids a trampoline, but it is very nice outside. I mean, it's 56 outside right now, which is, I mean, yeah, that's a little bit chilly for May, but it is cloudy. The high today is 60. So, you know, it'll warm up here in time. But Dad should be getting to the farm here pretty soon, and I think he's going to start on this field right behind me next to the house. The plans are to turn a bunch of these hay fields around here into pasture and then cut them. But obviously we need some really good hay ground that we can't just put cows on all the time. So we're going to get hay off of this field right here for the rest of this year, and then whenever we buy some more Angus, we're going to be throwing them on this pasture, because I mean, look at what the cattle have done to this pasture. They've already eat it down for this year. I mean, there's hardly anything to even get off of that field. I mean, you could bush hog some of that stuff up, but this field and then this pasture are night and day difference in my opinion. But yeah, whenever he gets to the farm, Dad's gonna work on that field over there across the road next to the house, like I said. And then obviously I'll get done with this field before he ever finishes that field, and I'll probably jump over there and help him cut. So we will both be running in the field. I think that'll be pretty awesome. And I would say that is our last headland pass. Now we'll get this cutter turned around here and we'll start going up and down the field, or we might just keep doing this. I'm not sure. We might just go keep going around the field until we get it all cut. I think that'd probably be better for this shape of field anyway. And I figured I'd do a little bit of in-cab cutting, because oh man, in-cab cutting hay with a hay bind is very satisfying if you ask me. Watching that sucker eat. Uh-oh, missed a little bit coming around that corner right there, but it's all good. We'll get that piece later if we come back down here. Yeah, I think we will just keep going around the field until we get it done. We don't have much to do left anyway, and this is actually working out like a dream, working a lot better than I thought it would. So I don't know. I mean, this hay bind is growing on me. I've always loved cutting with this, like I told you. I was not lying there at all. I much prefer this over the Krone disc bind any day of the week. It's just really smooth cutting. It's awesome, and it's actually exactly what a combine is if you really think about it. You know, you've got the sickle bar on the bottom, and then you've got the tines pushing it in to the sickle bar and then the auger. So it's pretty neat, and it sounds a whole lot better than a disc bind if you ask me. I love that little whatever kind of sound that is that the sickle makes whenever it's chopping all the hay out off at the bottom. But I don't know, that crawling disc bind, whenever you throttle it up and it's got the whole tractor shaking from the RPMs, that does sound pretty awesome. It sounds like a beast awakening from underneath the tarps of that thing. But this will always be more satisfying to cut with, in my opinion. And look how good of a job it does. Just cuts it awesomely and even. Awesomely is not even a word. It cuts it that good that I'm making up new words now. And actually, now that I think about it, I think we are done with gravel, so we can turn that trailer back in whenever we need to. At least I don't think we need it for anything else. All I specified is that we were going to be hauling gravel with it. I mean, you know, it's not our trailer. We're not that rich to have a type of trailer like that for just gravel. Okay, so we are going to get this field wrapped up here, and then we'll head on down to the next one, because I do think I just saw Dad pull into the farm, so he's about to get the International hooked up to the disc bind, and then we will be out in the field getting it knocked out, because this one right here did not take long whatsoever. So I'm going to get this field wrapped up, and then I will catch back up with you guys whenever we are to the next hayfield. Well, everybody, we have finished up with that field. It's been a good little while, and we have successfully moved on to the next one. But as you can see, we haven't just moved on to this next hayfield. We are cleaning it out currently. Dad's running the International on the Krone disc bind, and I'm still in the Deere running the old hay bind. And we are both on this field together. He's on that side, I'm on this side, and we're going to meet in the middle, finish this field out. He went around and did the headlands when I was finishing up that field. And then I took this puppy back to the farm real quick and had to fix a few things on the crimpers on the back and stuff. And then after he got done with the headlands, I brought this tractor and the mower back down to this field. And yeah, so I'm helping him out now. And this field is enormous. We are going to get a load of hay off of this field. And I'm actually planning something that we're going to be doing with this grass, or this hay that we get off of this field. We're not just going to be baling it up, we're going to be wrapping it. I'm either going to be renting one of those bale wrappers, or we're going to be purchasing one. I think I'd rather just rent it for this year and see how we like it. We hardly ever wrap our bales. I know in the past we've had the one that's like a 3-point hitch, and you know, you put them on one by one like that and drop them off. It's like a singular wrapper like that, but I'm not the biggest fan of those wrappers, so we're thinking about just like ones that, you know, puts them all in a line like that, and we're going to wrap every bale we get out of this field. And then we'll let them ferment, and we'll feed like a silage type bale to our cattle rather than it just being hay. It'll be like a high moisture hay, and then we'll start putting additive in the baler, and then we'll wrap the suckers. And I think that's pretty cool. I'm also just coming down here to see what Dad's doing. But so now we can just switch the hay bind to the other side, and now we can go back down the field. This is so very satisfying, and I always love whenever me and Dad get in the field together and start knocking it out. It goes by so much faster. I can run this hay bind slower, but he can run that disc bind faster. But I'm also cutting out, you know, double what he is at the same time. Or like, you know, 1.5 to 2 times what he's cutting, I'm cutting. But he is running about 9 miles an hour. I'm running about 7. So I think just a few miles per hour slower with a bigger mower is going to get the job done faster any day of the week. But I'm sure there's some people that could argue against that. But I'm just ready to get this field done so we can head inside. I'm very, very hungry. We're going to be missing lunch because we're going to try to get this field done. We do have rain on the way, so that's why it is super cloudy outside. And I know there's sun in the forecast, but we are supposed to get some showers later this afternoon. It's just supposed to be about partly cloudy in a little bit or something, and then yeah, in about a few hours it'll start raining after it clouds back up again. So I mean, about a week ago they were calling for rain all day today. Now it's just the afternoon, so at least we can come out here and get some of this stuff cut. That's a blessing. And then we'll just turn around and head right back up the field. So yeah, I would say we are going to go ahead and get this field knocked out. Shouldn't take too long, like I said, because we're both working on it. So, and the more I look over that way, it seems like he's got a good bit of the field knocked out over there on the hill. So, yep, I'll catch back up with you guys in just a minute whenever we get these fields done. And it might even be tomorrow, because I'd really like to throw the tedder on these fields soon. But I'm not too sure. If we're just going to be, you know, baling them and wrapping them, I don't think we'd need them to dry that much. We'd rather just go ahead and bale them while they're still kind of wet, or while the hay's still kind of wet. I don't know. I'll think about it. Or we might just wait and get a smaller field and wrap them. I'm not totally too sure. So, yep, I'll catch up with you guys in just a second. Alrighty, so we got that field done. Dad is just cleaning up over there. He's got like 1 or 2 more passes down the field and he'll be done too. And so I am going to put the disc bind back in the barn here. Just leave it right there, unhook it, and then we'll pull around here to the shelter, because I would say that we're going to call it a day here. We're going to be up early tomorrow morning so that we can go ahead and start drying this hay just a little bit, and then we've got to see what we need to do about a bell wrapper, because I'm not totally sure yet. I'm not sold on one particular thing. I think it'd be pretty nice to wrap bales just at least once and see how it does for us. And the rains are on their way, so I'll go ahead and pull the 4440 in also. But as far as today goes, we got a few of our pastures cut. I know it seems like a lot of hay, but we do definitely have more fields we need to cut. And I put that tractor in the worst possible spot for this, but you guys must forget that I'm a professional implement mover when it comes to moving stuff around in the sheds. So I'm just going to leave these tractors in here, and then we'll pull the 6R in here in just a second, because the way the weather's looking, we're going to get a torrential downpour. You can actually kind of see it back off in the distance over the hill. This is just clouds that have been here all day. So yeah, I want to thank you all for watching. I hate to end it here. I feel like all we did was just show off the farm from the new year and cut hay, but hey, there's plenty of stuff on the way, and this cutting hay, man, it took a very long time. But yeah, I want to thank you all for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you all in the next one.